Welcome, welcome. I'm super excited today. We have somebody that I am greatly inspired by. We have Ahmad Imam. I've been I've been watching him for quite some time. He and I we were on a project together. I think it was not really together. I don't think we did no work. We just talked. But I want to say it was Derek Mildred's LinkedIn's
Right. Yep.
influencer. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
We're on
Yep.
there and I saw you and I was like, man, who is this good looking dude on here, man? You're sharp, brother.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, that was a great project. I remember that.
Yeah,
And it provided a huge amount of value from a lot of different people. Yeah,
yeah.
I do remember that.
I was sitting here, I was looking at your profile, and for you guys that don't know, man, I could go on and on about Ahmed. I'm just gonna go with his LinkedIn profile, the top, the very basic stuff. So I'm looking at this, right, dude? You have over a million followers. That is freaking crazy. Uh, Top 10 influencers to follow in 2021. International Man of Empowerment of 2021, presenter, host, edutainer, social media consultant, and you help experts level up in their influence and visibility. Welcome.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate the introduction. I'll tell you what, it sounds a lot more exciting and powerful the way you said it. So, international man of empowerment. I love it.
I love that, man. If you're going to be a man of something, a man of empowerment, I think is the way to go. Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I was looking at your profile, man, and you've worked with some giants in the game, dude. I'm looking at it looks like Tony Robbins, Gary V, a host of other people. How did that come about?
I'll tell you what. I mean, my journey started with Tony Robbins. I mean, I was always a bit of a shy, awkward kid. But at one point, a manager that I was working with, and I was working at a pizza shop at the time. I was making pizzas and washing dishes. He gave me this 24 disc CD set by Tony Robbins, and he said, "Listen to this." I had no idea who the guy was. But I listened to the very first CD and it changed everything for me. It changed the trajectory that I'm on. And so, yeah, about 15 years later, fast forward 15 years, and an opportunity presented itself where I was able to get in touch with Success Resources, who do a lot of large scale global events. And yeah, I became an ambassador for them to start off with. And that slowly eventually turned into me being a presenter for them, a host. And we're very lucky to host some of the most incredible people on the planet. And we're talking about successful entrepreneurs and business leaders and thought leaders, just amazing educators in general. And yeah, Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Richard Branson, Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone. I mean, you name it. We've had the pleasure of hosting it. It's brilliant.
Wow, that's amazing. You said that you started as an ambassador for some people that might be in our audience. What exactly is an ambassador? Because you went from working at a pizzeria to an ambassador, right?
Well, yeah, it wasn't going from a pizza place to being an ambassador. I mean, those 15 years in between,
Yeah,
right?
there we go. There we go. Yeah.
I mean, the 15 years in between, it was me doing everything from, I mean, I started off working in a call center. I started doing door to door sales, went into sales management, sales leadership. I eventually found myself in the real estate world and I became the director of a property consultancy in Sydney. And at that time is probably when I started my LinkedIn journey. And I realized that the things that I was talking about in terms of my content, the things that I really wanted to talk about had nothing to do with real estate. It had nothing to do with sales. It was all about empowerment. It was all about, passing on what I've learned to inspire people, to empower people, to help people that have growth mindsets, especially to go to that next level. And so at that point, I was like, I have to do something that is more in that space, that is more in that field. And so at that point is when I gravitated towards Success Resources and started looking at other things that I'm doing in my life or what I can tweak in my life to make sure that I'm much more aligned with what I love doing and what I love talking about. And so, yeah, I mean, fast forward to today, I spend my time in the creative space, presenting, hosting, creating content, learning from some incredible people, passing on what I know. And so I'm very, very blessed right now. But it was also deliberate action that I
Ooh.
took to make sure that I'm in that space.
Wow, I'm glad you said deliberate action. I like that. I get the sense that you're a mindset kind of guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything for me is about mindset, and I know that. I mean, put it this way: I came from a space where I felt like I had no value. I had very low confidence and low self-esteem, and over the course of that 15 years, I challenged myself to build that confidence, to build that self-esteem, to build the way I communicate, the way I speak, the way I present, to become this, very much confident person that looks in the mirror and loves what he sees. And that was a process, right? So, I mean, it's 100% all about mindset for me.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I was doing a little bit of research on you, and I was looking at a picture that you posted of you when you were a little kid. How old were you on that picture?
If it's the post that I think you're talking about, I was 4 years old.
You're
Well,
four.
actually, no. There was a post where I was four, and there was a recent one that I put out where I was probably about 8 or 9.
Mm, yeah.
And we immigrated as a family from Egypt to Australia. So when I came here, I couldn't speak a word of English. I had thick glasses, a big unkempt afro. Do you remember? Do you remember Family Matters and Steve Urkel back in the day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was Steve Urkel. You know
Steve
what I
Urkel,
mean?
not Stefan, but Steve Urkel.
Yeah, I was Steve Urkel at the time. So I mean, that's exactly what I look like. That's how I behaved and acted. It took me a while to try and transition into the Stefan space, but
Yeah.
that's where I started. So I experienced a lot of bullying. It was a really tough time for me. And through that, the consequences of bullying, and it's something that I talk about now. There's always long term consequences. It takes you a while to get back to that state that you were at before,
Yeah.
because it can crush your confidence, it can crush your self esteem. And so I try and help out as many people in that space as I can. Whenever I see someone that is doubtful about themselves or lacks confidence or isn't quite sure about their direction, any way I can assist, I'm there.
Wow. I love that. Did you have somebody to lift you up like that when you were growing up? Somebody to kind of say, hey, I see you lacking in this area. Let me pour into you.
I am a big believer in mentors. So it actually started off with that boss of mine that gave me this 24 disc CD set. And once I started to absorb this mindset stuff and this self improvement and personal development stuff, I then realized the importance of mentors. So I went out to seek mentors. I mean, in every single job that I had, I would make sure that I had a mentor in that job that was at a very, very high level in that existing company, or I would have mentors in different spaces. Whether it be personal trainers or a mentor that teaches me about relationships and how to be married, for a long period of time, or a mentor that
You said how to be married for a long period of time. I like that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can have mentors in every single space. But yeah, I have also had people that have come forward and said things like they believe in me and they'd like to see me do this or like to see me do that, or perhaps pick out areas that they feel that I'm lacking in, and because they see that potential, they would help me through that. I've been very blessed to put myself in positions where I'd be around multiple mentors, and it seriously expedites your journey, as you would know. As you would know, one thing we're lacking as men or as boys is positive male role models. We don't
Yes.
get that often. I mean, we might get that in movies and TV, but we don't. We rarely get that in real life. And if you don't have a father that passes on the things that you need to know, you need to get that elsewhere. And if that comes in the form of mentors, then so be it. But people need to teach us about life, and how to live life. Otherwise, we get caught up in the wrong crowd.
Yeah, I love that. Do you believe in pan mentors?
In pan mentors, what do you mean?
Yeah, right now there's a popularity. It's kind of like a supermarket of mentors. You can go and buy a mentor for 15, 20, $30,000. Notice I said buy a mentor. Do you believe in that kind of stuff?
Um, well, I haven't actually heard of that. That's
You
crazy.
haven't? No, you haven't.
No, I haven't. And look, I'm,
That's
I'm very
good,
much
man.
in,
That's
I'm
good.
very much in that space. Um, yes and no. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, but yes, in the sense that everyone should have access to a mentor. I mean, someone that can lift them up, and if they want to invest in themselves and pay for that, then so be it. It's 100% a good investment. I mean, if they can teach you something that expedites your journey by 5, 10 years, I mean, what price do you put on that? The only thing I would be hesitant about is it's much more powerful when a mentor really believes in you, genuinely believes
Yeah.
in you, and they believe in you so much that they offer to mentor you for free. And the only reward that they want really is to see you successful and to see you reach the levels that they've reached, if not more. And that is truly powerful. But if it means paying for it to get to that next level, why not?
Yeah. I love that. I love that, man. I'm glad that you said that. I have a mentor and he is freaking amazing. I was just on the Zoom with him probably about an hour and a half the other day. And dude, he don't ask me for a dime, don't ask me for anything. He makes me ask him for stuff. And I call him and that's what he does. He gives me a pep talk. And full disclosure, if I'm like, man, I gotta go on this stage and I gotta kill it. I've never been on a stage this big. And he's like, what is your problem? Go out there and do what I know that you could do. He puts that confidence back in me. And
Yeah.
that's why I was asking you about mentorship. If you had to mentor yourself when you first got into business, like what would you say? What would be one of those things to where you would say, "Nah, man, don't do that. That's stupid. Go do that." What is you got something like that?
I would have so many messages for my younger self. I'll tell you what, I would love I would love to jump in a time machine. Not that I have any regrets, but I would love to go into a time machine, go back to my younger self, kind of shake him up a bit, and just pass on some serious knowledge bombs. I would tell him that um, you've got serious value. That you owe it to yourself to be great. That you shouldn't settle for a mediocre life that you hate. Um, don't get used to second place. You deserve to be successful. You deserve to be valued and you deserve to take up space. Your potential is limitless. That you have to go out there and create your own opportunities. I mean, literally, you don't just knock doors down. You build doors. You create them for yourself. So I mean, I would communicate all that value and spend all the time that I needed to just get him to where he needs to be. But I can't do that. So I'm doing that for other people. And I've learned a lot, and everything that I do, I like to live by example. So it's a brilliant question. There is just so much that I would love to pass on to him and just see him flourish. But we don't fail; we get redirected, and I've been redirected quite a few times. And I truly believe that we also go through what we need to go through so that we can grow through it. And that's what I did. Everything that I went through, I grew through, and it made me who I am today. And so, I think all timing is the right timing, as much as we don't believe it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if I was to be in this position 10 years ago, I would have messed it up because I wouldn't have had everything that I need to have to be able to hold myself correctly. So everything happens in the right time.
Yeah, you wouldn't be seasoned, man. You wouldn't know what to do because I'm pretty sure your days are hectic. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
to say the least.
yeah, yeah. No, so looked like we got quite a few people tuning in. I was going to ask you an important question. You talked a little bit about bullying when you were growing up. Do you get moments right now where people will come at you like online trolls and stuff like that? And if so, how do you deal with it?
Of course. I mean, yeah, 100%. I mean, at every post that I put out, I might get a few trolls in there. But I mean, how I manage it now is very much different. Um, I get what it's about. I get why people need to, you know, feel the need to kind of belittle people. Feel the need to make people feel less than. There's a lot of human behavior behind that, and it's really all psychology. Um, people people will always reflect the behavior that they feel. They will often reflect the behavior that they've actually seen themselves. And so, what we're really seeing is people just holding up a mirror and just reflecting right now what it is they're feeling. And if that's fear, they'll reflect fear. If it's an insecurity, they'll reflect insecurity. If it's hate, they'll reflect hate. So it's never a personal attack. Um, and if anything, if you think about it like that, it allows you to be a lot more forgiving and empathetic. You know, so if
Yeah.
someone comes at you with hate, you just send back a whole bunch of love, because I'll tell you what, that's exactly what they need,
No.
regardless of whether or not they admit it or not. So, yeah, I mean, and that's a bit of a mindset hack as well, and it's also it just comes from experience, living life and understanding people's true motivations and intentions, um, and just understanding human behavior, that everybody has fears. Most of us actually reflect it as much as we don't realize it. Um, and that allows you to really engage and communicate with people better, give them a better response. So, I mean, if I get a troll, I'll literally just respond with either, thank you for your feedback, or I appreciate your opinion. If it's something that's truly offensive, as in offensive to me or offensive to my community, I'll delete it or block the individual. But I mean, I don't engage. You know, that's what
Yeah.
trolls want. They want you to engage, and once you engage, you've lost. You know,
Yeah.
they've they've won, and that's exactly why they do it, to get a rise out of people.
No, I love that. I love that. I recently, I would say probably the last year and a half, I started getting trolled pretty hard, kind of in my DMs and stuff like that. And man, initially, oh my God, it would drive me nuts, because I would be like, why would you say that to me? And like, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
lie, it would hurt my freaking feelings, because I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to give you love. Why you're not receiving it? Why are you giving me hate? And I would leave that stuff there so that other people can see it, almost like, look, this stuff does exist. But one of my good friends, and I think you might know it too, Rachel Beck. You know Rachel, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. She was very instrumental in that process with me. She was like, dude, you can't leave that stuff there. You can't have people in your network doing that, because what'll happen is the people that love you, the people that support you, what they'll do is they'll fall back, because they see that stuff. So my wife was helping me with kind of like going through and like making stuff private on my page, certain things, and looking at my block list. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you blocked so many people. But dude, I feel so free when I do that, like when I have those block parties, because I don't know if you noticed, but LinkedIn has been a freaking war ground, it seems like, lately.
Oh, it's been crazy. I mean, and you should see my block list. It's huge. It's huge. And look, LinkedIn, I mean, the trolling culture has now come to LinkedIn. I mean, you see it on YouTube, you see it on Insta, you see it on Twitter, definitely. But I've been on LinkedIn now for about a little under 3 years now. And
Wow.
when I
Only
started,
wait, 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 wait. Only 3 years?
yeah.
All right, go ahead.
It's
That's crazy, man.
when I started, it wasn't there. But I mean, the more visibility you get, you can guarantee that you're going to have some people that just don't agree with your message, even if that message is love. I've put out posts about kindness, and people have disagreed with it. I'm like, what? You don't agree with people being kind? Like, what's the alternative? So someone will always have an opinion there, and if it's toxic, to the point that it risks ruining your day, ruining your mood, get rid of it. Life is way, way too short. But I have also found that sometimes I have engaged with these people, as long as the post hasn't been offensive, the comment has been offensive. I've engaged with these people, and I've kind of turned them around, to the point that they've either apologized publicly or they understood my perspective. But that's time consuming. And so
Mhm. Even
if,
that.
if you don't have time to do that, then, you either respond amicably. And like I said, if it's offensive, get rid of them. Life is
Yeah.
short.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I know some people say all publicity is good publicity, but man, I like your message. I like your message of kindness. And one thing I see about you is you being authentic. There's another post that I saw. Dude, I thought it was cool. I should have freaking put it on here, but you had this freaking cool hair. Yeah, I think it was like back in the day, you was kind of like hip hop. You know which picture I'm talking about?
I
Dude,
know what you're
that
talking
was,
about. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man, that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so
So I mean,
cool.
back in the day, this is what I mean. Like I've done a lot of things where I failed forward, right? And I've been redirected. Like at one point in my early 20s, probably from age 19 to maybe 21, I legitimately wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be a hip hop artist. And I mean, I was right in there, man. I was all in. So I mean, I hung out with with a hip hop crew in Sydney. I was going from club to club and rapping on stage. I had my mixtapes. I mean, it was all
What?
happening. Yeah,
That's
it was all happening.
crazy. So you
And
were the real 50 Cent then. you said you said my hat would look like 50 Cent in the green room, but you were the
yeah,
real 50 Cent. Go ahead, my
you got
bad,
a
man.
you got a 50 Cent vibe going on. Yeah, it was fun, and this is the amazing thing about life. Like I knew at that point that I loved the stage. I knew that I loved to perform. I knew that I'd love to entertain. Sometimes, though, we have the wrong dream, right? And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't chase our dreams. Just sometimes the element of what we want is not quite right. So for me, I thought that everything that I loved to do revolved around rapping or music and entertaining people that way, when really I just love to perform in any way, shape, or form. And that could be presenting, that can be hosting, that could be educating people, entertaining people. And that's what I do now. So if you chase a dream and you fail through that dream, perhaps there is something else that you can do that still gives you that feeling that you're seeking, that feeling of fulfillment. Because a lot of time we actually chase the wrong dreams because we don't have either the experience or the knowledge that something else exists that could fulfill us in that way. And so that's why I always talk about failing forward and being redirected. Because I mean, I was redirected then. A higher power said, "No, this isn't for you. You should probably stop this." Because I kept receiving barrier after barrier after barrier. And then through that, I found what I really enjoy to do, and that wouldn't have happened if I didn't receive roadblock after roadblock. And that's why I say things happen at the right time. I also believe that everything's been written, and you can call that spiritual if you want. But I believe that everything has been written. It doesn't mean that we don't control our destiny. It just means that everything that we go through, we're meant to go through at that time. And where we are right now, we are meant to be where we are right now. You and I are meant to be having this conversation. Something will lead from this. But I mean, that's what gives me hope every day.
Oh, dude, I love that. I love that. Yeah, dude, your best is yet to come. I love that phrase. What does that mean to you? Like what's coming for you? What are you working on?
For me, I mean, that phrase is just all about continuous improvement, right? Like we haven't reached our best yet. If we're focused on having a growth mindset and we're always forever students, our best is yet to come. The world hasn't seen our best yet. For me, I'm going to be doing a lot more. So I've got the ability now to be able to, and I'm very blessed to be able to reach out to and inspire and empower a lot of people. I want to do that at scale, and I also now have learned to trust in my creativity, and I've got enough confidence now where I can follow my instincts and intuition. Whereas before, I probably would have hesitated, or I would have thought, "No, I can't do that," or someone's doing that much better. Now I'm comfortable to just go for it. And so for me, that means um, presenting at a higher scale, hosting at a higher scale, creating at a higher scale, and getting involved in a lot of projects that really fulfill me. So, I mean, everything to do with social impact, to corporate kindness, to anti-bullying, and I've been able to align myself with a lot of organizations that do just that, and hopefully provide my input and contribute. So, I mean, there is so much more that I want to be doing and want to be giving. I just have to prioritize it.
Wow. How much of your success do you owe to LinkedIn?
Um, about 99%.
Oh, that's beautiful. No, I'm glad. No, man, I'm glad you said that. I love that because no matter who I'm talking to, I always ask them. I'll say, we'll be talking about social media. They'll say, "What's your Instagram handle? Where are you at on Facebook?" And I'm like, yeah, here it is. Are you on LinkedIn?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Why not, dude? LinkedIn is amazing. I probably got my last 3 or 4 jobs when I was still working for an employer off of LinkedIn, and the last two I didn't really interview. It was just a conference call. Hey, okay, I can be there this day. LinkedIn is beautiful. And then once I started speaking and doing my podcast full time, it seems like all I did was pick up my phone, hit a button, and next thing you know, I have people calling me for speaking gigs, which is crazy. But you said something that I thought about. You've been on this platform for 3 years, and now you have over 1 million followers. How did you do that?
Um, a lot of time was involved investing in a platform and investing in myself and investing in my brand. Initially, when I jumped on, I had no freaking idea what I was doing. Right,
Yeah.
like I had no idea how to create content. I had no idea what my brand was. I had no idea what kind of strategy I was moving forward with. And once I worked with a business coach and got clarity on that, it shifted for me. I knew what my message was. I knew where I add value. And so, I mean, I started putting out content that at the time was very different on the platform. Um, I mean, and I'm talking about 3 years ago, video had more or less just come out. So not many people were using it. And I started sharing stories, personal stories, vulnerable stories. And I had one post in particular that went viral where I shared something about um, being discriminated against when I was applying for a job, right? And I didn't use the word racism or discrimination. I used the word bias because that's what it was. It was a bias at the time. And that post went viral. I must have had maybe 1,000 followers, and that post received about 100,000 views. And all of a sudden, I'm receiving hundreds of comments from people I have never heard of that were, sending me love, and the community was just beautiful. And I'd never experienced anything like it. And that gave me the confidence to then put out just, you know, whatever content I wanted. So, I mean, I've put out music videos, I've put out rap videos, I've collaborated with a whole bunch of people. And what you see, I
That's
mean,
super cool.
yeah. So, I mean, I put out LinkedIn's first rap collaboration, LinkedIn's first music video. We had about 70 influencers on there, including Damon John, and there was about 70 big influencers from LinkedIn that all did a cameo. It was super fun. But I mean, all the content that I put out was kind of risky content, and that's what I became known for. I became known for that person that takes a bit of a risk with his content,
Yeah.
and that combines with just being a giver. I gave so much, like I'd be working during the day. I mean, at the time, like I said, I was in real estate and I was working, 8 to 6. I was the director of a consultancy. But I would go home, I would do the family thing. I'd put on a pair of shorts, I'd play with the kids, have dinner with the fam, put the kids to sleep. And then I would spend a good, 3 hours late in the evening posting content and engaging with people and connecting with people and having those conversations in the DMs and building those relationships. And I did that every single day. Still to this day, I do it. I mean, I've got a lot more help now than I did. But for me, it was a combination of posting daily and not just posting for the sake of it, posting something intentional, posting something revealing about me, um, leading with a lot of shocking vulnerability, like
Mm.
shocking people into going, holy crap, I can't believe he mentioned that. But making sure that there's a lesson in there somewhere, and spending a lot of time engaging and connecting with people. The more love you give, the more love you get on this platform. The other thing is leverage. Leverage is important. Anyone that has built a following on any social media platform has leveraged off of someone that has already an existing following. And so building relationships with key people on this platform, like key existing influencers, is important. So, I mean, I built a lot of relationships with people at the time that had, 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers, 30,000 followers, and not in a disingenuous way to build my following, but just to try and understand, have them as mentors, and try and add value to their journey as they added value to mine. So all of that combined, um, and especially with some key strategic viral content throughout that journey, has allowed me to build up some serious momentum.
Wow. Have you ever put together some content and you said, and I don't know if you are you familiar with DJ Khaled?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever did? Yeah, I don't even know why I asked you that, man. You're a freaking rapper. um, have you ever put out some content, or not even put it out, but just got done with it and said, "This is what I'm putting out tomorrow," and you just said, and another one, and it went viral.
um, I'll tell you what, it's impossible to pick out what goes viral. And
Oh,
look, I have had some posts that I intentionally wanted to make viral, and they have gone viral. I've had other posts that I've intentionally wanted them to go viral, and I've heard nothing but crickets when I posted it. You know, like it just bombed. But then I've had posts where I might not have had time to create some content, and I just created something quickly and just almost posted it for the sake of posting it, even though I don't believe in doing that. And those posts have gone viral, because I tapped into something that I didn't intend on tapping into. And what I realized is this: I mean, you can lean into shocking vulnerability. You can lean into the community and all of those things that people say will help your post go viral. But what I learned is this: when you can have a post that just hits the right timing, that's what
mm,
it's all about. As in, if you can put out a post that engages people on a topic that everyone is thinking about or feeling right now, and you get that right timing, then that post can go viral. And so I actually focus on the timing of posts. And I'm not talking about when you post, as in what time you post. I'm talking about the
yeah.
timing generally in terms of the sentiment with the planet and what people are thinking and feeling right now, overall. And, COVID and the pandemic and all the situations that are happening right now are a great example of the things that you can lean on. But you get that right timing and you get that right sentiment right, your post will go viral.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. So, what are the benefits of? I'm like a student, man. I'm asking you this stuff because I generally want to know because I put out stuff and I've had some stuff get 2, 3, 4 million, and it's always like, what that that post got that, like, how did that happen? But then
Yeah.
I'll have a post where maybe a couple hundred people will see it, or 100, or maybe even 35, but then I'll go in my DM, and I'll be in full disclosure. I'm one of those people. I talk about the things that I talk about because I want to impact the masses. That is my goal, to impact the masses. So of
Yep.
course I want people to see my content. Of course, when I look at the numbers, I might go, "Oh, that sucks." But I do have those days where I'll have a sucky little run, but I'll look at my DM and somebody say, "Hey, man, when you told me not to give up and to keep going, don't quit," and you teared up a little bit when you said, and I'm thinking in my head, like, what is this dude talking about? I don't know him, but he's like, no, you said it on that post. And I'm like, what? Like that, those are the moments that inspire
Yeah.
me to keep going. Like, do you have those moments where people hit you in your DMs and they're just like, Ahmad?
100%. And it's the most surreal thing because it takes you back to reality straight away, right? Because as content creators, you can get into the habit, and sometimes it's a bad habit of just almost being automated, as in, yeah, I've got to put out a piece of content. I'm going to talk about this. Next day, I'm going to talk about that. And sometimes you have to stop and pause and just reflect on some of the impact that you can actually have. And those messages allow you to do that, where you sit back and you go, wow, something I said made this person do something different or behave differently, um, or put a smile on their face. Those messages make all the time we spend creating content worth it. Um, and so this is real. I mean, it's very real what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I know that with posting content, you get a whole bunch of likes and comments and things like that, and you get that dopamine hit, and it's a bit of a buzz. But the impact is real, and the way people respond to those messages and those comments and those pieces of content is very real, and we need to think about that because that also means now we've got a responsibility, right? um, if we are getting all this visibility, we have a responsibility to make sure we're using the platform for something positive. We're using it for positive impact. We're using it to actually provide a positive influence on other people, and those comments are just the best reminders of that.
Wow. That was beautiful, man. I just want to tell you, man, I believe in affirming people, letting people know how I feel about them. And I want to tell you, dude, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done for me as far as speaking to my audience, because You dropped some gems, and I love it. I love it. I love the content that you put out. I mean, it makes it easier for everybody else on the platform to actually be themselves without having to do your typical LinkedIn post. Man, I love that you push the envelope. I think that is so cool. You got any parting words for my guest today?
I always have parting words, but I just want to say, look, that's the biggest compliment that I can receive. You know, when someone tells me that I've given them permission to be themselves or to be more of themselves, that to me is everything. You know, so thank you for that. I appreciate that. My parting word is simple: be kind to yourself. That's it. All right. We are constantly way too tough on ourselves. We are our own worst critic, and the world doesn't need more critics. We need more encouragers. So encourage yourself and be kind to yourself.
Oh, I love it, man. I appreciate it. I'm gonna close us out, and will you stick around for a second in the green room?
For sure.
I like saying that, man. It sounds kind of fancy.
It is
All right.
fancy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
My pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
All right. All right, folks. There you have it. There you have it. That was amazing. I'm super excited to get your feedback on this episode of Leaders Lead the Podcast. I'm bringing in some of the best people on the planet. We were just talking to my brother all the way from Australia, all the way from Australia. We got some amazing guests coming up. He mentioned Damon John. We're working with them. He's going to be on the podcast. Hopefully we can get him in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, this podcast, I'm super excited. We're on to episode number 11. Please tune in next Thursday, next Friday, and every Thursday and Friday after that. We're going to keep rolling. So thank you. And I appreciate everybody for viewing and also listening. Take care.